Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that you have $1 million. No lottery ticket. No inheritance drama. No billionaire lifestyle. Just one clean number sitting in your investment account. $1 million. For most people, that number immediately creates a picture in their head. A huge house. A luxury car. First-class flights. Fancy restaurants. No more worrying about money. You might even think, I made it. I'm rich. But here's the strange part. Having $1 million might feel much less rich than you imagine. And depending on what you do with it, $1 million can either become the foundation of financial freedom or slowly disappear while you're still wondering where it went. Because the biggest misunderstanding about becoming a millionaire isn't how much money you have. It's what that money actually changes in your everyday life. So what does $1 million really feel like? Let's find out. Let's start with the fantasy. You have $1 million. You buy a $100,000 car. Now you have $900,000. You buy a beautiful house for $500,000. Now you have $400,000. You travel. You upgrade your lifestyle. You start eating at expensive restaurants. You buy things you used to look at online and say, maybe someday. And suddenly, being a millionaire starts feeling normal. This is where something interesting happens. Your brain gets used to your new lifestyle. Psychologists often call this hedonic adaptation. Basically, humans are surprisingly good at getting used to better circumstances. The apartment you once dreamed about becomes your normal apartment. The expensive phone becomes your normal phone. The luxury car becomes your normal car. And the vacation that once felt unbelievable becomes something you expect every year. So your spending rises. And once your spending rises, your $1 million starts looking smaller. This is why two people can both have $1 million and feel completely different about their wealth. One feels free. The other feels financially trapped. Here's the first thing you need to understand. $1 million isn't really a lifestyle. It's a pile of financial resources. What matters is what that pile is doing. Imagine you have $1 million sitting in cash. It sounds incredible. But if you're spending $80,000 every year, that money has a very different meaning. You're effectively asking your $1 million to support an $80,000 lifestyle. And that's a big job. But imagine another person has $1 million invested and lives on $35,000 a year. Their situation is completely different. They aren't trying to look rich. They're trying to make their money last. And suddenly, $1 million starts feeling powerful. Not because they can buy everything, but because they don't need to buy everything. That's an important distinction. Wealth isn't just having a lot of money. It's having enough financial strength that you don't have to constantly worry about the next paycheck. Let's say you somehow built a $1 million portfolio. You might think, okay, now I can finally stop working. But let's slow down. Suppose, purely as an illustration, your investments eventually provide an average long-term return of around 7% before taxes and inflation. 7% of $1 million is $70,000. That sounds amazing. But there's a problem. You don't simply get to spend that entire $70,000 every year and assume the million will remain untouched forever. Markets don't move in a straight line. Some years can be excellent. Some can be terrible. Inflation reduces purchasing power. Taxes may take a portion. And withdrawing too much during bad market periods can create serious problems. So the real question isn't, how much does $1 million earn? The better question is, how much can $1 million sustainably support? That question changes everything. Because $1 million isn't a salary. It's an asset. And assets need to be managed. Let's meet two fictional people. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Both have $1 million invested. Same amount, Same starting point, but completely different lives. Alex spends about $90,000 a year. They have a large house, 2 expensive cars, frequent vacations, subscriptions, gadgets, and a lifestyle designed around looking successful. Their income is high. Their expenses are high. And their investments are constantly being asked to support their lifestyle. Now meet Sam. Sam spends $40,000 a year. They have a modest home, 1 reliable car. They cook regularly. They don't care about impressing strangers. And most importantly, they have learned to separate what they want from what they actually need. Who is richer? Technically, both have $1 million, but emotionally, Sam probably feels much richer. Because Sam has something Alex doesn't have. Margin. Margin is the space between what comes in and what goes out, and margin creates options. If Sam loses a job, they don't immediately panic. If the stock market falls, they don't necessarily need to sell everything. If an opportunity appears, they can consider it. They have room to breathe. And that feeling may be one of the biggest things $1 million actually buys. Before having significant savings, your brain often operates in survival mode. You receive your salary. Bills arrive, rent or mortgage, food, transportation, insurance, subscriptions, unexpected expenses. And then you wait for the next paycheck. It can feel like running on a treadmill. You're moving constantly, but you're not necessarily getting anywhere. Then something strange happens as your wealth grows. You build an emergency fund. Then $10,000, then $25,000. Then $50,000. Eventually, perhaps $100,000. And at some point, money starts changing psychologically. You stop thinking, "Can I afford this?" and start thinking, "Is this worth giving up my money for?" That's a massive shift, because when you're financially fragile, money represents survival. When you're financially secure, money starts representing choices. And when you have enough invested assets, money can start representing time. Think about your job. You might earn $50,000 a year. But your salary isn't the only thing you're earning. You're also selling something. Your time. Your attention. Your energy. Your mornings. Your evenings. Your weekends. And sometimes, your ability to choose what you actually want to do. Now imagine you have enough investments that you don't need every paycheck to survive. Suddenly, your relationship with work changes. You can say, "I don't like this job anymore." And instead of thinking, "But I need the paycheck next Friday," you can think, "Okay, what are my options?" Maybe you switch careers. Maybe you start a business. Maybe you work 4 days a week. Maybe you take 6 months to learn a new skill. Maybe you simply stay at the same job, but stop feeling trapped by it. That's the hidden power of wealth. It gives you negotiating power over your own life. And that is something a luxury car can't necessarily give you. But $1 million doesn't mean you can stop thinking about money. This is where social media creates another problem. Online, being a millionaire often looks like this: sports cars, designer clothes, private jets, huge houses, luxury watches. But real financial independence can look incredibly boring. Someone quietly invests every month. They drive the same car for years. They don't upgrade their lifestyle every time their income increases. They don't post their bank balance. They don't need strangers to know they're wealthy. And ironically, they may be the millionaire who is actually doing it right. Because there is a difference between looking wealthy and being financially wealthy. Looking wealthy requires spending money. Being wealthy often requires not spending it. That's why one of the most important wealth-building skills is surprisingly simple: knowing when enough is enough. There's another psychological trap waiting at the $1 million mark. It's called the moving goalpost. When you're broke, you think, if I had $10,000, I'd feel safe. You reach $10,000. Then you want $50,000. You reach $50,000. Now you think, if I had $100,000, I'd finally relax. Then $100,000 becomes $250,000. Then $500,000. Then $1 million. And eventually, you hit $1 million. But instead of feeling finished, your brain says, maybe $2 million would be safer. Then $5 million. Then $10 million. And suddenly you've spent your entire life chasing a number that keeps moving. This is why the goal shouldn't simply be, I want to become a millionaire. The better question is, what do I want my money to allow me to do? Maybe you want to retire early. Maybe you want to support your family. Maybe you want to work fewer hours. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe you want to build a business. Maybe you simply want to sleep better because one unexpected expense won't destroy your finances. Your number should serve your life, not the other way around. Let's make this extremely simple. Imagine 3 millionaires. Millionaire number 1 spends $100,000 every year. Millionaire number 2 spends $60,000. Millionaire number 3 spends $35,000. They all have $1 million. But their experience of money is completely different. The first person needs their wealth to work extremely hard. The second has more breathing room. The third has even more flexibility. This is why your expenses can matter just as much as your net worth. If your lifestyle costs $100,000 a year, $1 million may not feel enormous. If your lifestyle costs $35,000 a year, $1 million can be incredibly powerful. This is one reason financial independence is less about becoming unbelievably rich and more about getting your expenses under control. The most underrated part of being a millionaire. Want to know what might feel better than buying a Ferrari? Not needing one. Think about that. When you're constantly trying to prove that you've made it, every purchase becomes a signal. This is my success. This is my status. This is how I want people to see me. But when you become financially secure, something can change. You stop needing your purchases to prove anything. You can buy the cheap coffee because you like it. You can keep your old phone because it works. You can drive an ordinary car because you don't care. You can say no to things. And that ability to say no is incredibly valuable. Because every yes has a hidden price. When you say yes to a bigger house, you're not just buying the house. You're buying the maintenance, the taxes, the insurance, the furniture, the repairs, the lifestyle that comes with it. When you say yes to an expensive car, you're not just buying the car. You're buying payments, insurance, maintenance, fuel, and depreciation. Every lifestyle upgrade creates a chain of future expenses. That's why wealth isn't only built by earning more. It's also protected by refusing to automatically increase your lifestyle. Imagine you wake up one morning and realize your investments are working. Your emergency fund is full. You have no high-interest debt. Your basic lifestyle doesn't require every dollar you earn. You don't have to say yes to every job opportunity. You don't have to panic when your boss sends you a message. You don't have to buy things to feel successful. And you don't have to check your bank account every night before sleeping. Would that feel rich? Probably. But notice something. None of that required a Lamborghini. None of it required a mansion. None of it required a private jet. The feeling came from something much simpler. Security, control, options. Time. That's what $1 million can really feel like. So what should you actually do with this idea? First, stop treating $1 million like a finish line. Treat it as a tool. Second, focus on the gap between your income and your spending. Because that gap is what gives you the ability to build wealth. Third, invest consistently and give compounding time to work. You don't need to become obsessed with finding the next incredible investment. You need a system you can stick with. Fourth, be careful about lifestyle inflation. When your income increases, don't automatically make every expense increase with it. Give some of every raise a job. Some can improve your life. Some can protect you. And some can buy future freedom. Finally, define what enough means for you. Because if you never define enough, there will always be another number, another car, another house, another vacation, another person to compare yourself with. And you can spend your entire life becoming richer without ever actually feeling wealthy. So, let's go back to that imaginary $1 million. At first, it sounds like a giant number. A number that should completely transform your life. But the truth is more interesting. $1 million doesn't automatically make you feel rich. It doesn't erase every financial problem. It doesn't guarantee happiness. And it doesn't mean you can spend without consequences. What it can give you is something much more valuable. A larger margin between you and financial disaster. More control over your time. More freedom to make choices. And the ability to tell yourself, I don't have to do this just because I need the money. And maybe that's what being a millionaire actually feels like. Not looking rich. Not spending millions. Not proving anything. Just waking up one morning and realizing that money has stopped controlling every decision you make. Because in the end, the real goal was never to own $1 million. The real goal was to build enough wealth so that your money starts working for your life, instead of your life working entirely for money. And that might be the most valuable thing $1 million can actually buy.